Okay, okay, I promise this is the last screen recording for today. Apparently, I was going to be very chatty in class. So, the last piece I want to cover is delivering your presentation. Stage fright is a factor. I remember way back in week one, I asked you guys which of the learning outcomes made you was the most challenging for you, and I think it was 62% of you said that presentations are the thing that you felt you needed the most assistance with. So here we are. I have given you the option of not presenting in person by using Flip, but at some point in the future, you will need to deliver a presentation to an audience in person. So let me give you some tips. All right, how do we avoid stage fright? Well, we have to know what the symptoms are first and know how you are affected. So hopefully that is not you hiding the stacks in the library. But sometimes we have the urge to flee, to just go hide. I do not want to do this presentation. Your heart pounds, you have shortness of breath, palms are sweaty. These are all normal reactions to excitement and nervousness. So you're not likely having a heart attack, but it can feel that way. Your throat might be dry. You might have an unsteady voice, trembling hands, tied tongue, wobbly knees, and butterflies in your stomach. None of these are a great feeling, and I'm going to give you some tips to overcome them. One of the first ones that I find helps when I am nervous and actually gets rid of the first two problems is taking deep breaths. It helps with shortness of breath and it does help calm your heart rate. So as you walk towards the podium or before you begin and you need to just pause, take 3 deep breaths. Nobody will really even notice you're doing it, but you know, and it is an internal calming mechanism. For the sweaty palms and dry throat and trembling hands and unsteady voice, bring a bottle of water. It is something for you to hang on to, especially if it's a cold one. It will help your hands. It will also, take a sip. Try not to choke, but take a sip when needed to combat that dry throat. You will see even professional presenters having a bottle of water available because dry throat happens to everybody. Tongue-tied and stomach butterflies, often symptoms of you not having practiced enough. So be sure to rehearse what it is that you're going to say. Another possibility is that you are speaking too quickly, and that can get you mixing up your words. So do slow down a bit. Wobbly knees, get behind a podium. Nobody will ever notice. But if you find yourself shaky, try not to hang onto a piece of paper. It makes it more obvious that you are shaking. Hang on to the podium or hang on to that bottle of water, whatever it might be. Try not to focus on the fact that you are shaking. Take a pause. Again, the deep breaths will also help with that. Be familiar with your topic. Do lots of rehearsing. Rehearse in front of people if possible. Don't just use your mirror. Get an actual, your roommates, family, whatever it might be. Rehearse a couple of times in front of live people, working on that eye contact, and that will help you overcome the stage fright. Remind yourself that it's a short talk, 5 minutes, it's almost over. You will succeed. You have good grasp on your content. You have a friendly audience. Tell yourself all those positive things. I don't know how you do this, but the textbook says convert your fear into anticipation and enthusiasm. Tell yourself that this needs to happen. It's a good life experience, even if it isn't 100% perfect. It's one more time that you've done it, and you can conquer this fear. Another great trick is putting up visuals, because every time you click and bring up a new screen, people's eyes leave you and move over to your visuals. So if you want to have less attention on you, have really great slides. What else? Give yourself permission to make mistakes. You will possibly have mistakes, and if you've been watching the 3 videos that preceded this, you know that at times I've said the wrong word. I've, played around with my mouse and not done a great job, just like that. But the more attention you bring to those mistakes, the more it becomes the focus of your talk rather than the content you're actually trying to cover. So don't focus on the negatives. Keep going. Don't apologize. Get your partners, your audience involved. Think of them as partners, people who are engaged with your information. They need to know it. They are going to be working with it or making a decision from it, and try to keep them involved in your content. And again, that deep breathing does help. All right, so before you begin, prepare, which I've already forced you to do by having you write that report. Rehearse. I suggest that. If you're using Flip, you can use it as your rehearsal and then decide which recording you like best and submit it for grading. Be sure to time yourself. The first time you go through, if you realize you're taking 7 or 8 minutes, you're going to have to cut some content. What is necessary? What are the facts that need to be presented to make the most meaning and most impact for the recommendation that you're bringing? Make sure that is the content you're including. When you're in a live presentation, try to check the room, temperature, organization. Sometimes the room we have our class in doesn't have the seating in a way that I like. Control as much of that as possible. If there are external noises, close the door. Just be aware of the room itself. Be sure to greet your audience. You can say hello to them as they arrive. And as you begin your talk, it is also nice to greet your audience. Thank them for coming. Thank them for being engaged in the topic of the day. And practice those stress reduction tips that I've already mentioned. During your presentation, beginning with a pause is helpful, especially if you're nervous. Put up that first screen, your first slide. Let them take a look at it. Take a moment to take a deep breath. Presenting your first sentence from memory, especially in a live presentation, is very impressive. It engages your audience. It allows you to have good eye contact at the very beginning, and it gives you a credibility with your audience for them to know that you are confident in your content. Using eye contact and having control of your voice and using good vocabulary that you are familiar with will also be convincing that you are credible as a presenter. Slow down. No matter what you think, you are speaking more quickly than you realize. When we are nervous, we do tend to speed up our talking. I used to, when I was younger and have to do presentations, I would put a slow down note in my notes that I was looking at, just to remind myself, 1/3 of the way through and then 2/3 of the way through, just to take a little pause, make sure I'm not speaking too quickly. Move around. As I've said, get out from behind the podium. Use your visual aids effectively. Have practiced with them enough that you know what's coming up after the next click. And summarize your main points. That is the key to a good presentation. Having your content well organized and having it all point to arrive at the high point. For your purposes, it's going to be that recommendation. Which of the 3 options are you going to purchase? Have all your content focus on that. For the conclusion, when you've wrapped it up, distribute handouts afterwards or else way ahead of time. Either give people a lot of time to read them ahead or wait until after to provide them. People, if you hand them something, they're going to focus on that and not on you. If you're able to, encourage questions. And in a business presentation, this is the norm, that once you are finished, you welcome questions from the audience. If you are asked a question by someone in the front row, you can be sure that the people in the back row didn't hear it. So be sure to repeat the question. This gives you a couple of bonuses. First of all, you get to confirm with the asker of the question that you've got it right. It also gives you a moment to think of the answer as you put the question, back out to the audience so everyone can hear it. Keep reinforcing your main points as you answer. Keep control. Sometimes if you have a domineering person in the audience who's trying to steer the conversation to a different topic, don't let them. This is your presentation. Keep it focused. And then, as always, end with appreciation. Tell people that you are appreciative of their time and attention. You look forward to hearing their response to the action items that you've brought, whatever it might be. End with that graceful, professional manner. All right, there we go. I am done, and I look forward to receiving. Sorry, everything's covered up under here. I'm having a hard time moving around. That's not what I want to. There we go. I look forward to receiving your submissions. I'm going to see if I can get in here. It's not letting me. Sorry. Okay, we'll go back to here. I would look forward to receiving your submissions. If you are not using Flip and you are showing up in person, please remember to email me by Sunday. Please submit your outlines by next Tuesday morning at 8. Even if you are using Flip, you still need to do the outline. If you are presenting in person, you also need to upload your PowerPoint slides to the discussion board so that they are easily accessed for when you come to present in person. If you have any questions, please email me. I apologize for the weather. I apologize that we are not able to meet in person. If I am not seeing you next week for a presentation, I look forward to seeing you in week 14. I believe that is December 12th, and we will have our final test that day and wrap up the course. Have a good week, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.